Tennessee takes down Florida 8-2 in game one of this three-game set in Gainesville. That's Ben McKee. I'm Eric Kane here on Volquest Around the Horn. Ben, pretty simple game here. It was a fantastic second inning for the Volunteers where Tennessee scored 7 runs, and Chase Burns was able to riddle some demons of his last 2 weekends and went 4 innings, or excuse me, he went 6 into the 6th inning and looked really, really strong. 6 innings in a third. 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, only 1 earned run as he gets into the 7th inning. Chase Burns looked like the old Chase Burns, and that's a good sign.
Yeah, he definitely did. Tennessee's big offensive second inning relieved some pressure off of him, and I thought that was really good to see. His velo, at least according to the radar gun here in the stadium, looked like Chase Burns' velo, 96, 97, 98. Every time I glanced at the radar gun, that's where it was. I didn't see any 94, 95s, which still a lot of heat coming at you, but not Chase Burns level heat, if that makes sense. And I did find it interesting. I asked Chase after the game about his velo being down a little bit the last 2 outings, and he didn't really think that his velo was down. He kind of mentioned the stadium gun at Lindsey Nelson Stadium maybe being a tick or 2 low. So I did find that interesting, but he threw his fastball really well, had command. The slider was filthy, sitting around 90 miles per hour with a lot of spin. Didn't really throw in the changeup or the cutter version of his slider a ton, but was really effective because he had great command and he had that confidence again. And he said he didn't really make any adjustments between the last 2 poor outings against Missouri, Alabama, and tonight. It was more of just being in a better place mentally. He credited his parents for that, just them reminding him and then him also reminding himself that he's just 19 years old and he's pitching on Friday nights in the SEC. So that was the big reason Chase Burns said for his success tonight. Really good development for Tennessee after the last 2 outings. Offensively speaking, you mentioned the 7-run second inning. Florida starting a redshirt freshman on the mound, second career start, and it was pretty evident. They could have struck for runs in the first inning. Jordan Beck had a great double the opposite way there in the first inning. Drew Gilbert walked, if I remember correctly, had 2 runners on. Trey Lipscomb grounds out. Second inning, you come back. Luke Lipsius leads off the inning with a walk, comes around to score. He did that twice tonight. Twice he led off the inning with a walk and came around to score. But Luke Lipsius walked. Evan Russell smoked a double down the left field line where I'm standing right now, 100 miles per hour off the bat. You have 2 runners on, no outs. Then you have Christian Moore come up, RBI single. Cortland Lawson comes up, RBI single. Ball gets past the Florida right fielder, Sterling Thompson. 2 runs are able to score on that. Lawson makes his way to third, and then Jordan Beck comes up, bloop RBI single. Drew Gilbert did something to get on base. Forgive me. Maybe walked. But you had 2 runners on for Trey Lipscomb, and Trey Lipscomb just absolutely crushed a 3-run homer out here to left field. And it was a hard night to hit in the stadium, Eric. The wind was blowing in for the most part and kind of blowing towards the third base down the left field line. And the only way you're going to hit a ball out tonight is if you hit it on the screws or if you hit it kind of to the left field foul pole. And I can't tell you how many times Tennessee hit a ball tonight that was over 100 miles an hour off the bat. And Josh Elander made a point of this after the game that he felt like it was the most hits that they've had all season long in a game in which it was more than 100 miles per hour off the bat. Evan Russell's double got down. Trey Lipscomb was terrific on his homer. But there were 3 or 4 balls out to the outfield. Christian Moore hit one that the wind killed. There were some others that the wind killed as well, that if they were in Lindsey Nelson Stadium, and not because the wall, but because of the wind situation, Florida in this new ballpark, they've kind of flipped it, the outfield and home plate. So now the wind kind of does some quirky things. Tennessee hit the ball well all night long. The wind just kind of killed him a couple times. But Trey Lipscomb, a big reason for that big second inning. 16 homers on the season, 60 RBIs. Pretty incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty incredible when you think about it. A guy that has just kind of waited his turn. We've heard it all season long. He's watched. He's been patient, continued to work on his craft, and now, he's a candidate, for the big award, midseason Golden Spikes Award watch list type guy. So that's pretty impressive. Good to see Chase Burns getting back to where he was. We talked about here that 7-run second inning. But also it was Ben Joyce who worked out of a 2-on jam in the 8th inning. And I'll say this about Lindsey Nelson. If Chase Burns is saying that, maybe that radar gun's a tick or 2 slow for him, Could you imagine how hard like Ben Joyce is actually throwing at the home ballpark, but on the road tonight, gets in trouble, works himself out of it, and he looked good.
Yeah, he looked good coming in the 7th inning before having to work out of the jam in the 8th. Comes in, throws 7 fastballs in the 7th inning. 3 of them were 103 on the gun. Wow. 4 of them were 102. Did not throw a fastball. Threw 7 of them to 2 batters in the 7th inning. Not a single one was less than 102. They were all 102 or 103. And then on top of that, he gets a ground out. He comes back and he strikes out whatever Florida player it was in the 7th on an 86-mile-an-hour slider. That was just absolutely filthy. Just absolute filth. It is literally impossible. I'm not exaggerating. It is impossible to see 102, 103, 102, 103. You're waiting. You're ready for this 102, 103 fastball. And then, boom, here comes this slider. 86 miles an hour. It's coming like it's going to be a fastball, and it just darts away from you. It was a frisbee. It's stupid what he can do when he's spot on. Did run into trouble there in the 8th, like you mentioned, but I thought it was good to see him battle through adversity. We've seen him do it this season, don't get me wrong, but he worked himself into trouble, leadoff walk, came back with a strikeout, gave up a single, then he got a line drive to right field, line drive to left field for the 2nd and 3rd out. So really good to see him have success, but also battle through a little adversity. And I wanted to make that same point on Chase Burns. Chase Burns was back to being Chase Burns tonight, but also good to see him avoid some major disaster 2 or 3 times. He battled through adversity well tonight as well.
8 runs off 9 hits, 1 error for Tennessee, who left 9 men on base. 2 runs off only 3 hits, 2 errors for Florida, who left 6 runs on base. Tennessee now leads this series 1-0, and no Chase Dollander, not on the active roster, as you pointed out earlier in the ball game, or before the ball game rather. But Ben, a familiar face, is going to get the start on the mound tomorrow.
Yes, and hopefully I can avoid the water behind me. Hopefully you can be the eyes in the back of my head here, Eric. But Blake
I'm going to let it hit you. I'm going to let it hit you.
I know you will. He's pretty aware of me. We made eye contact, so we are good. But Blake Tidwell, he's going to get the start tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, SEC Network Plus. Josh Elander, if you watch the video that is posted on the Volquest YouTube channel, he says that he'll have to talk to Tony Vitello. But Tennessee's SID did speak with Tony Vitello earlier in the day, and Tony confirmed that, hey, it's going to be Blake Tidwell. And Tennessee was fine with putting that out there after the game. So Blake Tidwell will start tomorrow. I'm fascinated to see how this goes. How does he pitch? That's one big question. Chase Burns was able to avoid the middle of Florida's lineup doing damage tonight. Can Blake Tidwell do the same? But not only how well does Blake Tidwell pitch, I think the thing that's more fascinating to me tomorrow night, Eric, is how much does he pitch? How many pitches does he throw? How many innings does he go? And it'll be more based off of pitches thrown than innings. They'll probably have, I would assume, 70-ish, 80 pitches in mind for him to throw. If he throws 70 over the first 3 innings, he's coming out. If he throws 70 over the first 6, he's coming out. That's how they'll judge it. But I am interested to see just how much he does throw and how effective he is. And it'll be really good to see Blake Tidwell back starting games. I mean, people forget that he was a All-American coming into the season. Yep. Many viewed him as the best pitcher returning in the SEC, and he's making his first SEC start halfway through conference play. Pretty incredible. And we'll see what the conversation holds afterwards. Burns bounces back. Tidwell comes out and shines tomorrow. Beams rocking and rolling. Dollander's hopefully back next weekend against Auburn. 3 games, 4 starting pitchers. That is quite the scenario. And by the way, I do think you'll see Camden Sewell piggyback Blake Tidwell if the opportunity presents itself. Camden Sewell took a line drive off the heel, had a bone bruise, was in a boot there for a couple of days after Saturday. But today, no boot. Chase Dollander, no sling here after the game. So good developments for Tennessee. Excited to see Blade tomorrow night and Camden get back on the mound. He pitched really well last Saturday against Alabama in a really unfortunate predicament with Dollander going down due to injury.
Yeah, it'll be great to see Camden Sewell as well. That's my biggest thing. Is it going to be a true piggyback situation? If he can get, through 70 pitches, through 6 innings, just, dial up the night crew, get back into the bullpen. But regardless, it's going to be good to see those 2 guys on the mound. And Blake Tidwell, who would be a Friday night starter on just about any other team in the country, just about, is going to be on the mound Saturday in Gainesville tomorrow. Ben, you got plenty of stuff coming up. You got 4 quick takes. Got not Tony Vitello, excuse me. Got Josh Eglander video, player video, and tons of coverage at Volquest.com. Anything else we missed here from a Friday night in Gainesville?
Yeah, Tony Vitello doing Tony Vitello things and going and watching the Tennessee women's tennis team here on campus while his baseball team is playing against its arch rival. Pretty impressive. The women's tennis team here playing in the SEC tournament, and Tony Vitello can't watch baseball, so he'll go watch some women's tennis, making the best out of every situation. That's what Tony Vitello does best. Although some college national media members want to tell you that it's him just being ignorant and being a dummy and trying to deflect. How dare he raise money for a good cause?
Yeah, chest bumps for Tony. $2 to the Wounded Warriors Foundation. Sounds like a good idea for me. But for Ben McKee in Gainesville tonight, I'm Eric Kane. 8-2, the final score. The top-ranked Volunteers handle arch rival Florida in Game 1 of a 3-game set. Stay tuned to Volquest.com. Coming up for more coverage. This has been Around the Horn.